Hey everyone, I'm going to take a look at the Champions League Player of the Week pack on eFootball. I've already reviewed the regular Player of the Week pack that's live on the channel now if you want to check that video out. For this one, as always, there'll be timestamps in the description for each player, so if you want to hear about particular players, click on the description, there'll be a link to take you straight to them. So, just one 4-star like with the regular pack, let's start with him. It is Julien Le Cardinal. So, we have a defensive fullback without a face scan. He plays for Brestois. And he's not particularly good. So it's the first time I've got a feature version of him. They've slightly nerfed his lower body attributes, speed, kicking power, stamina. Slightly buffed his dexterity, so the acceleration, the balance. But yeah, on the whole, it is a nice boost from his GP card. The physicals, technicals, defending, especially his defensive awareness and tackling have all had a nice boost. But it's not a brilliant card on the whole. He's not the quickest for a fullback. He's got a centre-back as a position as well, but he's not strong enough defensively to play there. Technically, he's not great. So, yeah, it's not a terrible card, but on the ball, he's not great. Low pass isn't great. Not got much balance. And like I say, the pace is a bit on the low side. If you look at his skills, does have some good skills defensively at least. They've added first-time shot. In fact, they've added everything here except for interception and sliding tackle. So you already had interception and sliding tackle. They've added first-time shot. They've added man marking, blocker, aerial superiority, fighting spirit. So defensively, very good section skills there. But going forward, nothing for his passing or his crossing. Not so important, the crossing really, on a defensive fullback. He's not going to get forward a great deal. But some passing skills would have been nice, especially to compensate for his low pass being low. But like I say, it really is a bit lacking technically. Defensively, he's all right. Certainly the awareness and tackling are good. Physical contact's decent for a fullback, stamina's fine, but he's a bit slow, so technically a bit iffy, pace a bit iffy. It is a 4-star card, but even so, I don't think this is a great one, so this for me is a bit of a dud. And next we have Weston McKennie from Juventus. So he does have a face scan. Box to box, he's a booster. Let's go straight to his booster. What's that booster? Hard worker, okie dokie. So, is he any good? He's alright. He's another one of these centre mids. He's kind of got a bit of everything, but nothing really great. I mean, he's physically very strong. His stamina's good. But that passing immediately stands out. It's not great. I was hoping the booster might be on his passing, but 83 low pass is not brilliant. On the ball is not brilliant either. Looking at previous versions, we had a couple of old trainable ones that are some way off this level. They were from quite a long time ago. There's one recent trainable one from some kind of Legend or Showtime pack. Better than this one before you activate the boost, but when you activate the boost, this one's probably a bit better than that one was. So on that basis, when you get A form, this looks like it might be the best version of McKennie that we've had. Compared to his GP card, bit of a boost on his dexterity, the acceleration, certainly with the A form boost, a bit more balance as well, possibly finishing, physical contact. Yeah, he's had a nice enough boost from his GP card, but like I say, if you look at it in isolation, he's kind of okay in a bunch of areas, a bit iffy with the passing, a bit iffy on the ball. Yes, he's physically strong, the pace is decent for a centre mid, stamina's good, but there's nothing really great about this card that I could see. Looking at the skills, they've taken away heading, fighting spirit, and sliding tackle. What are they giving us? Acrobatic finishing, first time shot, weighted pass, I think super subs new as well. So got the passing skills, one touch pass, through passing, weighted, low lofted, nice, but the passing attribute's not there to back it up. Defensively, interception and blocker, nice, super sub, nice bonus, but yeah, as much as there are a bunch of positives with this card, there aren't enough really for me. Like I say, down the left there, he's just not as good as I want a 5-star midfielder to be. Does he have other positions he could do a good job defensively? Not strong enough defensive attributes for me to play DMF, AMF, definitely not good enough technically. Out wide, again, he's not great on the ball, he's not got a great deal of pace, so I think really just a pretty average centre midfielder, to be honest. Centre mid, box to box, good selection of skills, but the attributes for me just aren't really there. So not a terrible card, but really not a particularly good one in my opinion, even on A form. And next up we have Myles Lewis-Skelly from Arsenal. So he's a teenager, doesn't have a face scan yet, but I imagine he will soon enough. He plays for Arsenal or a partner club, so I'm sure a face scan will come in the near future. He's a fullback finisher left back. Normally, he's an orchestrator and a defensive midfielder, but they've added left midfield as a fully proficient position. Left back, my mistake, and they've made him a fullback finisher. Not everyone's favourite playing style of fullback. For me, I like attacking fullbacks. A fullback finisher will get forward a lot, but they'll be drifting into the middle, getting involved in the midfield. and you can get caught out positionally with a fullback finisher. If you like that playing style, great. It's very particular though. For me, I'm not a big fan. And also, he doesn't really have the pace to play fullback. He's not too dissimilar to the situation with Lewis Hall, to be honest. He's got a lot of quality, so defensively, 80 plus on all of these. You're going to be in the 80s with your game plan boost and all the defensive attributes. On the ball, he's pretty tidy for a fullback, and with his passing, especially the low pass at 86 pre-game plan boost, that's really good for a fullback. And over here, physical contact's okay, balance is decent, stamina's fine. So, to be honest, he's pretty good everywhere except the pace. But the problem is that the pace is so important on a fullback. So it's a big shame that if we look at the skills, what have they done? So he already had through passing, but that was it. So they've thrown in one-touch pass, which is nice. Chop turn, great. Soul control, nice. Man marking, insertion, house priority. So on the whole, pinpoint crossing would have been nice, but a fullback finish is going to be drifting inside quite a lot. So if I was going to choose between one-touch pass and through passing or having pinpoint crossing, I think one-touch pass and through passing probably suits him better. On the whole, he's got good selection skills for a fullback, certainly an attacking one or a fullback finisher. It's just that pace for me that kind of screws him up a bit. To be honest, though, he does still have his normal position DMF and he has CMF. And looking at him with the skills he's got, one-touch pass and through passing, and then he's got those few defensive ones, I think this guy's much better suited to playing in the middle as a midfielder, to be honest, where he normally plays. I think down the right there, athletically, he's fine. Down the middle, he's solid. Down the left, he's okay on the ball. Passing's decent with those passing skills. Whatever position you play him in, I don't think this is a great card, but for me, playing him as a midfielder, DMF or CMF, without an active playing style, I think he'd be decent. I think as a fullback, he's too slow, even though he's pretty good everywhere else. He does have plenty of qualities as a fullback, but that most important thing for me, the pace, just isn't there. But as a midfielder, I think this could be a tidy enough DMF, CMF. I don't think he's brilliant, but I think he's certainly pretty usable there. So for me, versatile. I personally don't think he's quick enough for fullback. Some people might disagree. If you think he's quick enough, then great. It could be a very good card for you because elsewhere, as a fullback, he's very nice looking. But as a DMF, CMS, for me, that's where he's going to be strongest, and I think he could actually be a fairly decent card there. And next we have Gernot Trauner. I think I've said that right, from Feyenoord. So we have a destroyer centre-back. He's normally a build-up. We've had one previous Player of the Week version of Trauner. That's the only feature version we've had of him previously. That was a build-up like he normally is. They changed it to destroyer this time. That previous Player of the Week wasn't quite as good as this one, although he did have slightly more defensive awareness and physical strength. But yeah, on the whole, this one's slightly better. And this is just another typical Player of the Week centre-back because all they've really done is they've boosted the right column, made his passing a bit better. That's about it, really. And he's a pretty solid centre-back. Nothing amazing. The awareness and tackling are good. Aggression a bit on the low side for some people. I don't personally mind that too much. Engagement, would like it to be a bit higher, but on the whole, pretty strong defensively. Pace is all right. The jumping and the physical are good. He does need the jumping. He's only 6 foot tall. Balance is terrible. He's not brilliant on the ball, so be careful on the ball with him. He's not going to feel too great in possession of the ball. Stamina's decent. Like I say, they've given him the typical Player of the Week centre-back boost, made him a bit better athletically. But yeah, he does need that jumping. Like I say, he's not the tallest, but he does have aerial superiority. In terms of the skills, same as his previous Player of the Week card. What they've done is they've thrown in blocker, and that's about it. But he's got a good selection as a centre-back, heading and aerial superiority. And then on the ground, we've got man marking, insertion, blocker, slide and tackle, acrobatic clearance, captaincy, fighting spirit, weighted pass, and nice bonus. Good selection of skills, pretty complete. And yeah, he's not amazing by any means, but he's all right. It's like the guy we looked at in the regular Player of the Week pack. He's a solid centre-back. There's nothing amazing about him. It's a shame we don't get an Eredivisie challenge, so it's not like one you can keep hold of as a useful option for a particular league challenge. You're only really going to use this guy if it's in divisions, or maybe if you do an Austrian team in the national team challenge. But he's certainly not a bad card. If you're new to the game, it could be a really good option to pick up. For most people, you've probably got better options, but it's not a bad card. It's just not amazing. It's a solid centre-back, really. And before I forget, as I usually do, got a face scan. So yeah, nothing amazing, but a solid centre-back. And next we have a right midfield version of Brahim Díaz. Got his usual playing style, creative playmaker. That'll be active in every one of his positions. He hasn't previously had right midfield, I don't think, but he's got it on this card. And it's a decent looking version of him. We've had a few versions of him. We had a few regular Player of the Week versions. They weren't quite as good as this one. We've had one Champions League Player of the Week before this one that was slightly better, especially with a big boost on his physical contact that one had. I was really keen to get that one, but didn't. I was gutted. He's not got that boost this time. He's not quite as good as that previous one, but he's still pretty good. Still a good version of him. If you look at the best trainable version of Brahim Díaz, there's one from one of those legend boxes, and there's one that's in the current kind of national players pack. The rest of the world one, I will be reviewing that separately in the next couple of days. They're both pretty similar to this one. This one has a bit more speed, but if you retrain those two, the best trainable versions of Brahim Díaz, you can make them pretty similar to this one on the whole. Not quite as strong physically with the physical contact, but apart from that, very similar. So this is one of the better versions of Brahim Díaz. Nice boost to his speed from his GP card, and a bit more kicking power as well. A bit more attacking awareness and end product as well. A little bit less on the ball, and also balance than his GP card, on auto allocation at least. So a bit of a shame there. They do always do attacking players for some really strange reason, but on the whole, decent version of him, one of the better versions of him that we've had. Looking at his skills, what they've done skill-wise, no Rabona, lost gamesmanship as well, and they've given him pinpoint crossing and outside curler, so decent selection of skills there. We've got a bunch of skill moves and soul control. Then we've got heel trigger and outside curler, two very nice ones to have. One touch pass, through passing, pinpoint crossing. So on the ball and with his passing, very nice. No shooting skills, and his finishing at 74 is not brilliant. So he's not going to be brilliant at shooting, but passing will be decent. On the ball, pretty nice. He's got a pretty low centre of gravity. Bit of pace, balance, and good on the ball attributes. He should feel pretty nice in possession of the ball. I've found that on previous versions of him that I've had. I've had a couple of versions of him. Of course, he's got his face scan. So yeah, I think this is a pretty neat looking card. He's two-footed. The fact he's got outside curl as well, that helps even more. So he's going to be very comfortable on the ball. Like I say, with the attributes he's got, with the profile physically that he's got, he's versatile. I think his passing is just about good enough with the passing skills he's got to play through the middle. So as a creative playmaker, which will be an active playing style in all his positions, through the middle, behind the attack, as an SS or as an AMF, I think would be pretty competent. And out wide, as an inverted ring off the right flank or coming off the left flank, doesn't really matter which flank because he's so two-footed. It's a pretty tidy card, this. Like I say, I've used him before, a couple of versions of him. Feels nice on the ball. This is better. This is a better card than the ones I've had, so he should definitely feel nice on the ball. And he's got that ability to create goals for you. So whatever position you play him in, this looks like a pretty useful card. This is not the best Brahim Díaz we've had. I think that previous Champions League one was the best, but this isn't a million miles away. It's mainly just the physical contact, and aside from that, it's one of the better versions. And I think it's a pretty tidy looking card, this. And speaking of tidy looking cards, we have Marquinhos. So it's always going to be a good card with Marquinhos. He's got his usual playing style build up. Of course, he's got his face scan. And as you'd expect, he's just a really good, solid centre-back. He's just a good all-rounder. The one thing with Marquinhos where he's a little bit lacking is that he's not the biggest or strongest. Only 6 foot tall. Does have very good jumping, though, 90 before your game plan boost. And he's got aerial superiority. We'll see that in a moment. Physical contact a little bit on the low side as well, but usually it's a bit lower than that. He's actually got pretty decent physical contact compared to previous versions of Marquinhos. The best version we've had was a Showtime one. It was just about the best version. But we've had a bunch of other ones that aren't a million miles away, and this is pretty much on that level, really. He's got a little bit more pace and physical contact, like I say, than he normally does. But you can, if you take the best trainable versions of him, if you retrain them, you can take a few off the defensives, put them on the physical contact and speed, and you can make them very similar to this one. There's really not a huge difference. So if you've got one of the better versions of Marquinhos already, you won't need this one. But if you don't have a good version of him, then this is a very good card, like I say. Unwavering form. No real weakness here. It's a little bit lacking in physical strength and height, but with that jumping, and like I say, he's got aerial superiority. He's got pretty much a complete set of skills as a centre-back. Skill-wise, quite interesting. Normally, all he's really lacking is sliding tackle. They've given him sliding tackle, but they've taken away acrobatic clearance. So we're now lacking acrobatic clearance. I would say those two, sliding tackle and acrobatic clearance, are two of the less important skills for a centre-back. Obviously, it'd be nice to have them all in an ideal world, but they're not the most important ones. So to swap one for another, it's not a massive deal. But yeah, on the whole, he does have a good selection. Like I say, aerial superiority and heading, so not the tallest, but with those skills and jumping being 90 before the game plan boost, he should be pretty decent in the air. Weighted passing, low lofted passing, nice. He's got pretty decent technical attributes. His passing is decent for a centre-back. Then man marking, interception, blocker, sliding tackle, captaincy, fighting spirit. So we're lacking acrobatic clearance, but that's about it. Otherwise, it's a great selection of skills in the centre-back. The defensives are very strong. The pace is decent for a centre-back. Good jumping, like I say. Physical contact would like to be a bit higher, but it's not disastrous. Balance is pretty decent for a centre-back. Stamina's decent, technically sound. I think most of us by now probably had at least one version of Marquinhos, and if you have done, then you'll know that he's a really good centre-back. He's a good card to have. If you don't already have a good version, then this would be a fantastic card for you to pick up. He does have right back and DMF. Right back is not quick enough. Don't think he's good enough technically either. Defensive mid, again, I don't think he's good enough technically. If you want a DMF to just be an out-and-out defender and you don't really mind the technicals being low, you could find him effective at DMF, but for me, that'd be a waste. He's a really good centre-back. That's where he's best. And yeah, there's really not a lot to say beyond that. He's just a really good centre-back. It's just he's a little bit lacking height, a little bit lacking physical strength, but on the whole, it's a really good card. And if you don't already have a good Marquinhos, this is a great one. And next is Youssouf Fofana. So, I wasn't aware he played that well, but he plays for a partner club, so who cares? Normally a CMF box-to-box, now he's a DMF box-to-box, which makes absolutely no difference because he's already got DMF and CMF as he normally does, so you've got two positions he can play. It's a pretty solid version of him. The best version we've had of Fofana was the Ligue 1 Player of the Season one, when he was playing for Monaco, and that was a bit better than this one. There was a previous Player of the Week version of him that wasn't as high rated as this one, but if you look at the attributes, they've kind of shuffled around a bit. Some of them are actually better, especially the passing. So even though it's lower rated, that previous one you might prefer to this one. The best trainable versions of Fofana are pretty similar to this one. Again, the stats are kind of shuffled around a bit. You can retrain them though. So yeah, on the whole, not the best version of Fofana that we've had, but it's pretty solid. If you look at what they changed from his GP card, big boost for his physical contact, that's good. Otherwise, it's a decent boost, but they've slightly nerfed his low pass, and that's really annoying. I don't know why they do that. If you're a midfielder and you're on form and you play well enough to get in Player of the Week, why is your passing going to be worse than normal? Why are they doing that? So yeah, that kind of spoils it, but he's not brilliant on the ball as well. So it's another one where, similar to McKennie, I'd say it's just a slightly better card than Weston McKennie, but still not a brilliant one. One positive though, if you look at the skills, there's a skill he's normally lacking, which is through passing, and they've given him that. So this is one of the rare versions of Fofana that does have through passing. So one touch pass, through passing, weighted pass, low off the pass. Great section of passing skills. It's just a shame they've nerfed his low pass, and that he falls a bit on the low side for me. Defensively, they've also added blocker. We've got man marking, interception, and blocker. Really good defensive skills on any kind of midfielder. Sliding tackle as well, captaincy, fighting spirit. So all in all, he's got a really strong selection of skills for a box-to-box centre mid or DMF. I'm not sure he's quite strong enough defensively to be a DMF, but he's quite physically strong, and he's at least going to be over 80 on his defensive attributes, so you could play him DMF for sure. He might actually be better than CMF, to be honest. Like I say, they have nerfed his low pass, but he's not brilliant on the ball. So it's a decent card. Again, like with McKennie, it's not a bad card at all. I just don't see anything about this card that's amazing. You know, he's got a great selection of skills, but the attributes here, I just don't think they're particularly high in some areas. So not a great card really, but not a bad one either. It's just a solid centre mid really. You could certainly do a job DMF or CMF, but there's just nothing particularly exciting about him for me. And our goalie is Alisson from Liverpool, and it's a good goalie. So as you can see, awareness already at 90, pre-game plan boost. Parrying, reflexes, reach, all going 90 plus with the game plan boost. Only catching won't be getting to 90. That's a little bit on the low side, but with all the attributes being as high as they are, I think you can allow that. It's a good card, this. If you look at the best versions of Alisson, there's one version of him that stands out as being slightly better than the rest. If you look at that one on auto allocation, the goalie stats don't actually look better than these ones at first glance. If you shuffle them around, because you can train that card, that you can make him very similar to this. So this is just another classic Player of the Week goalie where they've obviously beefed up his goalie attributes, but they've nerfed his jumping like they still do. I'm not going to rant about that again, but yeah, that's the difference. If you take that best version of Alisson, the trainable one, he obviously has much better jumping than this, but if you shuffle him around, ultimately it's pretty similar to this level. So I would say this version of Alisson's up there with the best versions of him that we've had, and it's a really good goalie card. Not really a lot more that you can say about it. You know, the distribution's all right. Jumping's obviously great, because it's not great because it's the Player of the Week card. But the goalie attributes are very strong. He's obviously got low punt and long throw. Yeah, what more can you say? It's not the best version of Alisson we've had necessarily, but it's right up there in my opinion when you look at the best version. If you shuffle the attributes around on that one, not a lot of difference. It's a really good goalie card, this. And now we have a very interesting version of Ferran Torres. So we've got a booster Ferran Torres, and we've got a goal poacher Ferran Torres. He does always have centre forward as a position. His previous versions have had that, but he's obviously been built for that position this time. So hard to really compare him to the previous versions of him, because whichever version you have, even if it's one of the better versions of him, you can't train him up as good as good at a centre forward in terms of the awareness and the finishing primarily. So this is a very interesting version of him. He's normally a roaming flank, obviously a goal poacher this time. So yeah, how good is he? I'm just going to activate the booster straight away, because like I say, there's no point comparing it to previous cards, which you can't make as good as a centre forward. And with that booster, what's that, striker's instinct or something? Shooting, fair enough. So yeah, with that A-form boost, awareness and finishing both hitting 90 with the game plan boost, very tidy on the ball for a goal poacher. decent passing as well for a centre forward. Got the pace, the speed and acceleration both hitting 90 with the game plan boost. Kicking pass hitting 90, or is it? Starts at 84, so it won't. That's how that kind of the increments work with that. I didn't realise that for a while, but it's when the when the attributes hit gets to 85 before the boost. Then when you get the boost, it will go up by 3 if you've got an 88 rated manager. So yeah, being only 84, the booster doesn't really factor into that. So that will go up to 89 with the maximum game plan boost kicking power. But that's still good, obviously. A little bit of physical contact, so that's decent. And balance, would like to be a bit higher. But I can live with that. I can live with the stamina as well. Ultimately, even before the A-form boost, this is a very tidy looking centre forward goal poacher. He's got the pace, he's technically very nice, he's got the awareness. The finishing I would like to be a bit higher without the A-form boost, but when you get that A-form boost, it's high enough, it's great. I think this is a very nice looking card. When you look at the skills, they have of course given him first time shot and super sub. They've also given him fighting spirit, which is nice. So yeah, nice selection skills. Their first time shot, the important one, still got through passing and pretty decent passing attributes for a centre forward. Pinpoint crossing, yeah, his crossing's not too bad. You could still use this guy out wide. It's not too dissimilar to when we were looking at Dembele in the regular player of the week pack. You could still use him out wide. He's not going to be as well built to play on the wing as he normally is, but he's still pretty decent on the ball. He's still got the pace, and with the awareness and finishing, a little bit of end product about him with pinpoint crossing and lofted pass, hitting 80 with the game plan boost. Low pass isn't great, but he's got through passing. So yeah, as a wide man, primarily as an inverted winger for me on the left flank, cutting inside onto his right foot. But you could play him on the right, like I say, his crossing's not too bad. You've got a few ways you can use this card. If you don't want to use him as a centre forward, then you could use him as a winger. But certainly as a centre forward, with the attributes they've given him this time, with the skills that he's got, I think this is a really nice looking goal poacher. So especially when he gets A form, this for me is a really nice goal poacher card. It's one of the better player of the week cards I think we've seen in a little while. There's one in the recent player of the week pack that I said similar about. I think that was the Luis Diaz one. But yeah, this for me, very nice looking goal poacher. I'll be very, very happy if I get this one for my free spin. And now we have Michael Olise. So Michael Olise had his playing style change recently on his GP card. He used to be a creative playmaker. He's now a roaming flank. So that's not an update on this particular card. That's just an update on his GP card that happened recently. So he is normally a roaming flank now. But if you've got a previous version of him, it probably is a creative playmaker. Of course, he's got his face scan, and he's a booster as well. So let's go straight to the boost. And this is a very tidy looking card. So got some great attributes, and he's been given a pretty nice boost on the whole. But they have slightly nerfed his passing, which is annoying. So as much as he's got centre mid and attacking mid as positions he can play, with the passing being nerfed a bit, I wouldn't be playing him now. I don't think his passing attributes are anywhere near high enough. He does have, I think, through passing. Yeah, he's got through passing, but not one-touch pass, and those passing attributes are a bit on the low side. So for me, he's very much going to be a wide man. I wouldn't play him wide left. I think it's a waste there. I don't think he's got the passing to play through the middle. I think as a left footer, roaming flank, coming off that right flank, that roaming flank playing style will be active right midfield and as a right wing forward. I think it's pretty nice. He's got pretty decent pace. Got a bit of kicking power about him, fantastic balance, certainly on A form. On the ball, very nice. When he's on A form, he's going to be 90 plus in all three of those. Good attacking awareness. The passing on it for a wide man isn't bad. It's not brilliant, but it's not bad. He's got through passing. Finishing 83 is good. He does have long range curler. Have they added that, or has he already got it? I think he's already got it. What have they done skill wise? They've taken away dipping shot and low lofted pass, and they've given him penalty specialist and fighting spirit. Fair enough, not the most exciting swap, but like I say, long range curler is a really good one to have. You're going to play him on that right flank where I think he's strongest as a left footer, so that's good. Heel trick's nice as his outside curler, through passing and pinpoint crossing, so got a pretty good selection skills and some very nice attributes there. There was a recent Champions League player of the week version of him. That was a whole player. This one for me, looking at all the numbers, I think this one's slightly better with that A-form boost. I've got a couple of trainable versions of him, but those were creative playmakers. Like I say, he used to be a creative playmaker. Neither of them, in my opinion, are as good. They're not as good statistically, and obviously different playing style. But if you prefer that creative playmaker playing style, bearing in mind those ones are trainable as well, you could possibly train them to be better attacking midfielders, or you might just prefer them as a creative playmaker out wide. I don't know, but statistically, they're not quite as good as this one. The Showtime one is the best version of Olise that we've had. That was quite recent, but it's not that much better than this one. This one's not far off, to be fair. This is a good version of him. So yeah, annoying they've nerfed his passing, but if you're going to look at this guy as what they've made him, which is a right midfield roaming flank, with the attributes he does have, the boost he's had pretty much across the board apart from the passing, pretty good skill set. This for me is a very nice card. I'll be pretty keen to get this card. I do like a roaming flank out wide, an inverted winger, so yeah, if I get this card, I'll be pretty happy. I think it's a very good version of Olise, this. And we finish up with another Julián Alvarez card. We had quite a few at this point. So he is a deep lying forward. That's his usual playing style. We've had quite a few versions of him, like I say. So we've had some previous Player of the Week ones, two Champions League Player of the Week ones when he was at Man City. Both of those are a whole player. One of them had left midfield. And both went to a similar level, or at a similar level to this one. Just the stats are kind of shuffled around a little bit. We had a previous deep line forward in a regular Player of the Week pack that was pretty similar overall to this one, to be honest. But had a bit more on his finishing, a bit less on his ball control than this one. We've had some goal poacher versions. One World Cup goal poacher Player of the Week wasn't so great. One with a very similar build to this. One with a bit more finishing, not so much ball control. So yeah, quite a few versions. A lot of them very similar to this one, at least in terms of Player of the Week. In terms of trainable ones, his Showtime God obviously is the best version we've had of him. That was the deep line forward as well. And we've had one or two other deep line forward trainable ones as well, which are pretty similar to this one, but obviously you can train them, so they might be preferable to this one. But on the whole, this is just a pretty good version of Alvarez as a deep line forward. The playing style might be what swings it either way for you. For me, I don't like that playing style particularly, but I do think the build he's got does marry up well with that playing style. I think he's got the right kind of profile just about. I'd like a bit more on his passing and finishing. And that finishing, they have nerfed it a bit from his GP card. Very annoying on any kind of forward. The finishing shouldn't be nerfed if they've played well. That's silly, but yeah, they have nerfed the finishing a bit, as well as his acceleration and his balance. Although I think you can afford to lose a little bit off those. Where they boosted him, he's got a bit more speed than normal, kicking power, a bit better on the ball than he normally is. Passing's been boosted a bit. That's nice on a deep line forward. Bit more physical contact, a bit more defending. Great. So yeah. Decent boost on the whole, just a little bit annoying. The finishing's been nerfed a bit. And then when we look at the skills, we've lost Marseille turn and dipping shot. And we've gained long range curler. That's a very good addition. And track back, not everyone's cup of tea, but yeah, certainly long range curler I think is a very nice addition. So long range curler, rising shot, long range shooting, first time shot. Got some good shooting skills there. One touch passing, through passing, important ones on a deep line forward. He will be dropping it, dropping deep from the attack, getting involved in the build-up, so he's not going to be darting in behind the defence a great deal. So yeah, like I said, I'd like a bit more on his passing attributes, but they have had a bit of a boost. He does have one touch passing, through passing. On the whole, I think the profile they're giving him does marry up quite nicely with the playing style. So if you like that playing style, there's a good version of him. I would still like a bit more on the passing and finishing, but it's still a good card. Face cam needs updating a bit. So yeah, one or two slight negatives, but on the whole, it's another good version of Alvarez. I think most of us have had a good version of him by now. If you don't already have a good version that's a deep line forward and you want one with that playing style, you like that playing style, this would be a very good card to have. Otherwise, if you prefer another playing style, like for me, for example, I've got a goal poacher version, I prefer that one. But yeah, if this guy's profile and playing style work for you, it could be a very nice card to pick up. So there is your Champions League Player of the Week pack. As usually seems to be the case, I think that's better than the regular Player of the Week pack. I think these higher rated ones here, the kind of the 5 highest rated ones, all the 95s, I think they're all good cards. You've got a really good centre back in Marquinhos, you've got a really good keeper in Alisson, you've got a really good centre forward in Ferran Torres and Alvarez as well. Likewise, very different profile to Ferran Torres, of course, but I mean, the attributes aren't a million miles away. But yeah, two different types of striker in terms of the playing style, at least, but both very good. And Olise, for me, looks like a very interesting inverted winger on that right flank with the roaming flank playing style that he's got these days. The rest of them, I think Brahim Díaz is a pretty tidy looking card. Trauner, not amazing, but solid centre back. Fofana and McKennie, 2 centre mids or DMFs who aren't bad, but just aren't particularly exciting really for me. Le Cardinal for me is a bit of a dud, not great. I don't think many people are going to be too keen to get him. And then Lewis-Skelly doesn't have the pace for me to be a fullback. Apart from that, he does look pretty good. That's the only weakness as a fullback that he's got. But I do think he's better as a DMF or CMF. I think as a DMF or CMF, he could be a reasonably tidy card. So yeah, quite a few decent cards in there. I'm not going to do my free spin now. I'm going to save that for tomorrow. I'm going to do a stream tomorrow, aiming to do that probably after lunch tomorrow. So and that'll be UK time. So I will post on the Discord or the and the community tab to let you guys know. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys for that. And I'll also be doing reviews of the 2 national player packs. What are they even called? I never remember what they're called. Where are they? The national team selections. So we've got a European one, we've got a worldwide one. I'll do videos reviewing those 2. And I'll also do one reviewing the 3 legends. There's 5 of them in here, aren't there? So these guys, yeah, I'll do a video reviewing these as well if I get the time. I should have the time. Like I said, I've got a few days before I go away for Christmas. I'm done with work now. So yeah, a few more videos to come up soon. And then, like I say, tomorrow I'll try and get that live stream on in the afternoon. Hopefully hang out with some of you guys. That'll be good fun. So yeah, cheers for watching. Let me know what you think of this pack. Let me know who you spun from your free spin. And yeah, hopefully you found this useful. Cheers for watching. Hopefully see you tomorrow. And keep your eyes out for more videos over the next few days. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you soon.